Council will come to order. All rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our veterans, servicemen and women, and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Anderson? Yes. Councilor Kamel?
Here.
Councilor Condon?
Here.
Councilor Crowe? Councilor DeMaria? Here. Councilor Masterson? Here. Councilor Murphy? Here. Councilor O'Malley? Here. Councilor Spatafora?
Not here.
Councilor Winslow? Here. Council President Sika?
Here. Under the provisions of the open meeting law, for those of you in attendance, please be informed that MATV is recording this evening's meeting, along with John Mayara and Brian DeLacy will also be recording this meeting. So just be aware there is audio and video recording of this meeting. First order of business.
The City Council will hold a public hearing on proposed expenditures to provide residents with an opportunity to express objections to or support for specific expenditures or programs or proposed new initiatives.
I declare the public hearing open. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the budget, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Anyone wish to come to speak in favor? Hearing none and seeing none, I declare the portion of that meeting, public hearing, closed. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition of the budget, please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Brian DeLacy from 1 Earl Street in Malden. I just want to speak, and thank you for the opportunity to speak before you on this budget matter. The proposed 2020 city budget has an expenditure of over $429,000 on the maintenance of Pine Banks Park. That's Malden's share. Malden has approximately 128 acres of park and recreation space, and that Pine Banks is about 1/5 of Malden's total. The park operating budget in the 2020 budget is $105,000, about a quarter of what it is for Pine Banks. So you have 5 times as much space, and you're investing a quarter as much. I'm also told that Malden receives no revenue from the rental of Pine Banks parks and recreation fields. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. I've submitted the fee structure for rentals of the city's other park spaces along with this note, and I'll just speak in an abbreviated form. It's my belief that the fee structure for other parks around the city and recreation space needs to be increased. In addition, there should be a review, I believe, of all users of the field who claim nonprofit status, and if they have failed to submit proper identification documentation to the Attorney General's office, they shouldn't be allowed to benefit from the subsidized and reduced price. In addition, I believe the nonprofit reduced fee should only be available to nonprofit organizations with a principal office located in Malden, Massachusetts. Based on what I know at this point in time, that's not the case. Finally, the extent to which the charter school utilizes the city park, such as for recess, gym class, and other activities, I think should be recognized with a modest fee, perhaps in proportion to the percentage of students who are not residents of Malden. I believe a concerted review of the fee schedule will generate additional revenue that could really help benefit the parks. As people have recently said, people love using Malden's fields for organized sports because they get them dirt cheap. But we all realize that that overuse drives them into the dirt, and maintaining them is a very expensive endeavor. So I hope that perhaps you'll consider the fee structure, and thank you for this opportunity to comment. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition of the budget?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Annie Opedisano, and I wish to enter into the public record my opposition to the turfing of Roosevelt Park.
Annie, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's not in the budget.
So we're not spending a dime on that? The CPC money?
That's not a line item in the budget. It's in the CPC.
So when do I get to speak in opposition of the CPC money going to turf that park?
Let her go. Does anybody have any issues? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
If we had realized that there would be an underhanded way to use the CPC money tacked onto our taxes to prepare the fields for the addition of turf and not the natural grass as it is now is unconscionable. This park is used by the students at Salem Wood School for their recess, after-school, and summer programs. These children have no ability to shower or clean off after using the field, as it is highly recommended by the manufacturers of turf. After 7 to 8 years, the crumb rubber turns into powder, which would be easily inhaled by anyone on the turf. Injuries resulting from being on turf are more serious than falls on natural grass. The merits of turf being a financial improvement over grass is ridiculous. The choice of organic fill over rubber crumb will cost more. Why not use that same money to dig a little deeper for natural grass to be used instead? The biggest complaint about the current park is a lack of drainage. The CPC money will remedy that problem. Once that drainage is fixed, natural grass will still be there without the costly expenses for maintaining turf. After 8 to 10 years, the turf will need to be replaced to the tune of $500,000 plus. Where will this turf madness stop? Are we to expect that the Trafton and other parks will jump on the bandwagon where we care more about the myriad of sporting teams than the health of those who are playing those sports? We've had to consolidate the Little League divisions as there aren't enough players for more than one division. The CPC should not be used as a tool for fake grass. Too many studies are showing turf is not a good material for young children who are at the Salem Wood for 9 years of their formative years. It's one thing for college and professionals who play on turf as they are older and almost always shower off and change clothing after playing on the turf. Save the children. I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to say this, and thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak in opposition of the budget?
I am Kathy Sullivan. I at 27 Oliver Street. I am a teacher at the Salem Wood School, and I originally was told I wasn't going to be able to speak, but I am going to talk about the CPC portion of the money, my taxpayer money that's being used. And I'm not going to repeat what Annie just said because she basically condensed what I've been trying to talk to you guys about for the past 3 months. As a taxpayer, I feel like this is a half-baked plan. There's no other consultations that you've done. You have one person you've talked to. You haven't consulted any of the natural grass advisory boards that I've given you the information to look into. This is not only about the kids that I teach every day who happen to be out on the grass today having a picnic on blankets, actually when the mayor was there. This is about me as a taxpayer. You're going to use $2.6 million on a plan you didn't do any of the research on. You hired one person to give you an opinion. That's wrong. That's a lot of money. And I had one of the school committee people down there today, and I was showing them the plaza that has sunk 5 inches. So if you're going to put all of this work in, and you're going to watch it sink into the ground, and I know that you talked about a place in Gloucester. Well, they ended up spending, a year later, $1.1 million because all of the stuff, the bleachers sunk into the ground. So if you want to spend $3.6 million, then maybe you should get the drainage figured out, like I talked to you about before, get someone to come in, spend $5, $10, $20, $30,000, and put that camera down, see where the problems are. Because the field hasn't been touched in 20 years. You put that artificial turf in, that's it. You've taken away 3 acres of green space for the kids who are there every day. And I just want to know, any other park in Malden that's associated with a school that's going to have artificial turf? Why at Salemwood? Why at the kids that have no voice? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition of the budget? Hearing none and seeing none, I declare that portion of the hearing closed. On Councilor Kamel's motion to refer the budget to finance, all those in favor? All those opposed? The budget has been referred. Next order of business. The docket is clear. Does anybody wish to speak on personal privilege? Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to actually thank you, Jadine, for giving out these pins tonight. It actually really means a lot to me. The council president handed out pride pins for the first time in, I think, the city's history, and that really means a lot to me. I want to give a little history about what pride means, and I had to do some of the research myself because I have to say that's been a learning experience for me. In 1969, 50 years ago, in the early morning hours of June 28th, the Stonewall riots began. The riots at the Stonewall helped ignite the modern LGBTQ rights movement and harnessed the political power of LGBTQ people. Harassed by police simply for congregating, Stonewall's LGBTQ patrons, most of whom were trans women of color, decided to take a stand and fight back against the brutal intimidation they faced regularly at the hands of police. 1 year later, the first LGBTQ pride marches were held, establishing June as Pride Month. For the better part of a decade, several other riots took place to demand LGBTQ rights, including Cooper Donuts in 1969 and the Compton's Cafeteria in 1966, and the Black Cat protests in 1967. So I would just like to say thank you to my fellow councilors, to Council President, to the Malden community for accepting me and the greater LGBTQ community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Councilor O'Malley, I too did a little research and learned a lot about the Stonewall riots. You just basically said a lot of what I had prepared to say. It is the 50th anniversary of those riots for the month of June. Pride Month is the whole month of June. I passed out the rainbow pins courtesy of Julianne Orsino. I think she made them for us. I had reached out to her and told her I was looking to do to support Gay Pride Month this evening at tonight's meeting. So I just wanted to fill everybody in. We do have a Malden LGBTQ community in the city. They've been organizing and building a community. The group is active and has grown to 80+ members strong. They meet monthly at local businesses. They get to know one another, bond over commonalities, and discuss local, national, and historical issues that impact not only the LGBTQ community, but the overall community of Malden. The members of this group span socioeconomic, ethnic, religious, political, gender, family makeup, and gender identity lines. They work to be an inclusive group and hope to match the diversity of our amazing city. So I just wanted to recognize that Malden has an LGBTQ community. And this Saturday in town, I think a lot of them are heading into the Pride Parade in Boston. So I look forward to seeing pictures. I'm sure everyone will have them all over social media. So thank you, Julie, for all your work. Anyone else? Councilor Condon, sorry.
Thank you, Madam President. Just briefly, we'll be holding a resident parking meeting after we adjourned here, and it affects every single ward in the city. As you know, the resident parking is will go beyond the T-zones. We have the T-zones, which will be affected during the day, and at night, the entire city from, right now, it looks like maybe 1 in the morning to 7 in the morning will be affected. So I'd ask that the ward councilors try to attend that, just so you know what to expect and how to answer your constituents. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone like to make a motion to adjourn? On Councilor DiMaria's motion to adjourn, all those in favor? All those opposed? The meeting has been adjourned. Good night.